podcaster Rachel Wagner, and I'm the host of the Hallmarkies podcast. And I thought, since I see myself as somewhat of a holiday and rom-com expert, I thought it'd be fun to take a look at the Ms Mojo videos and see what I think and give my reaction. And I just thought it'd be fun to try something new. So the first one I'm going to look at is the top 10 funniest rom-coms. So let's see if I agree with Ms Mojo on the top 10 rom-coms, and let me know what you think. And I'll put a link to the video, so if you want to watch it without my commentary, you can do that. Okay, here we go. Ready, set, go.
Your mother and I were married 52
Moonstruck.
years. Nobody died. You were married, what, 2 years? Somebody's dead.
Welcome to Ms Mojo, and
Coming to America, classic.
today we're counting
Although I wouldn't really say Moonstruck is that funny.
down our pick.
You know, like it's really good. And it has some laughs, but I wouldn't say the Moonstruck is that funny of a rom-com.
Funniest rom-coms of all time.
I want the woman to love me for who I am, not because of what I am.
Do you
That's a good one.
like
Good choice.
cheese?
Well, why, yes, I do. My favorite's Gouda.
Good one.
You are already falling in love with me.
I'm gonna make you wish you were dead.
For this
Good
list, we'll
one.
be looking at the romantic comedies that are heavy on the com as well as the rom. Did your favourite make the list? Let us know in
Here
the
we go.
comments. Number 10, When Harry Met
Classic.
Sally.
Gotta
I
include it.
realize, of course, that we could never be friends.
Why not?
What I'm saying is, and this is not a come on in any way, shape, or form, is that men and women can't be friends because the sex part always gets in the way.
When Harry Met Sally is considered to be one of the greatest romantic comedies of all time, popularising the genre after it was released in 1989.
Now, I mean, I do think that that's a little bit of a stretch to say that, because it was basically aping Annie Hall in many ways, which had so I mean, saying that it repopularized the romantic comedy, I think is a little bit of a stretch. But it's all right. It's a great movie. Love it. Very funny.
It is, of course, known for the famous scene that takes place in Katz's Deli, where Sally delivers a very enthusiastic performance to prove a point.
Classic.
Oh, God. Oh.
I'll have what she's having.
Rob Reiner's
While Billy
mother.
Crystal and Meg Ryan are both excellent in their leading roles, Carrie Fisher adds great comic relief as Sally's best friend Marie. The film is also peppered with interviews of elderly couples telling their love stories, each of which is funnier than the last.
What did I say?
Which is also right out of Annie Hall. So I mean, I'm totally fine with this being in this video, but I it's not like groundbreaking. It had been.
What are you doing after?
Right. So I ditched Roberta. We go for coffee. A month later, we're married.
35 years today after our first marriage.
Number 9, Just Friends. In romantic comedies and teen movies, it's typically the girls who have the dramatic makeover, but that trope gets gender swapped in Just Friends. In this story,
Not a huge fan of this movie. I think your tolerance for Ryan Reynolds and your tolerance for fat jokes will be a big determinant of how much you love this one. But it does have some laughs, so I can understand why it's on this list.
Ryan Reynolds stars as Chris, a guy who was overweight and nerdy in high school. When he comes back to his hometown as an adult, however, he's become both successful and incredibly good-looking.
You look so great. Look at this body. You're like a new man.
So naturally, he sets out to win the girl of his teenage dreams. This movie is full of over-the-top gags and laugh-out-loud moments.
Wow, you don't see that every day.
At its heart, it also features a sweet love story between two former besties who finally managed to make it work after years apart.
And I want to tell you how beautiful I think you are, inside and out. And I want to have babies with you, and I want to marry you, and I love you. Jamie, I always have.
Number 8, Moonstruck. Today, it's kind of hard to picture Nicolas Cage as the star of a romantic comedy, and perhaps equally hard to imagine Cher starring opposite him.
Bring me the big knife.
No, Ronnie.
Bring me the big knife. I'm gonna cut my throat.
Maybe I should come back another time.
But that's exactly the unlikely combination that 1987's Moonstruck gave us. Cher
Moonstruck is totally one of my favorite movies, period. But I I just don't think it's that like laugh out loud funny, in my opinion.
Even won an Oscar for the role.
I'm in love with you.
Great scene.
Snap out of it!
The movie is something of a cult favourite because of the way it balances offbeat comedy and an engaging story that takes us into the world of a group of quirky Italian Americans living in Brooklyn.
He got hit by a bus.
Cult favorite. It was incredibly successful movie. Yeah, I don't know how you make that argument.
No, bad luck. Your mother and I were married 52 years. Nobody died. You were married, what, 2 years? Somebody's dead. Don't get married again, Loretta.
Rom-coms aren't known for being hits with the critics, but this one holds a Rotten Tomatoes score of 94%. Number 7, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Technically, Forgetting Sarah Marshall is more of a breakup movie than a traditional rom-com, but don't worry, it totally has a happy ending. In fact, if you're going through a breakup yourself and need a good laugh, this movie might be the perfect thing to cure your heartbreak.
Peter, you suck. Peter, you suck. Peter, you...
I think this is a no-brainer. You got to have Forgetting Sarah Marshall. It's I think probably laugh out loud of those kind of that Judd Apatow era. It's got the, I don't know, 40-year-old version's pretty funny too, so it would be one of those that probably is the funniest.
Don't do anything of value.
Jason Segel plays a guy who has just been dumped and has to contend with the fact that his ex is now dating a famous rock star. Things only get worse for him when he heads to Hawaii to take a vacation and learns that both his ex and her new boo are at the same resort.
She's here with some guy already. Kind of messed up.
Right?
While getting over a broken heart is usually more devastating than comedic,
I have been to this spot where they jump off the rock. I've been there, and I've been to this all on the North Shore in Hawaii. It's the best. I dream of staying at this Turtle Bay resort. Oh, amazing.
This movie is able to poke fun at all of the awful things that happen to Segel's character, making us able to laugh at our own breakups too.
Maybe it's good we got hurt like that, you know? I don't know about you, but it makes me feel like impervious to pain.
Yeah. Kind of like there's nothing left to be afraid of.
Number 6, My Best Friend's Wedding. My Best Friend's Wedding is a unique romantic comedy in that, spoiler alert, it doesn't have a happy ending.
The misery, the exquisite tragedy.
Yeah, you know, I think that this one does have enough genuine like laughs, even if it does sort of subvert the genre and having the lead basically kind of be the villain, breaking up our happy couple, which is very interesting. But it does have some pretty funny scenes. I think it's a good one for this list.
The Susan Haywood of it all.
The plot revolves around Jules, played by Julia Roberts, a woman who suddenly realizes she's totally in love with her longtime best friend. Unfortunately, this revelation comes just before he's about to get married.
I realize this comes at a very inopportune time, but I really have this gigantic favor to ask of you. Choose me. Marry me. Let me make you happy.
This is a movie that's much more about the journey that the protagonist goes through than it is about a fairy tale happily ever after. Along the way, she makes plenty of mistakes, and each one creates increasingly funny scenarios as the
Can you imagine having your lead in a rom-com smoking a cigarette now? You would never.
plot moves along.
I think I'm gonna cry. Me too.
Number 5, Coming to America. The plot of Coming to America is funny from the start. Eddie Murphy plays a spoiled prince of the fictional African nation of Zamunda, who isn't super enthusiastic about his family's attempts to set him up in an arranged marriage.
I want the woman to love me for who I am, not because of what I am.
And who are you?
I am a man who has never tied his own shoes before.
Wrong. You are a prince who has never tied his shoes.
Instead, he decides to head to the United States to find an independent wife on his own. It's a classic fish-out-of-water story that involves Murphy's character, Akeem Joffa, learning a lot of hilarious lessons as he contends with American culture.
America is great indeed. Imagine a country so free.
I think a lot of people wouldn't really think of this as a rom-com, but it totally counts. And the romance is pretty central to the story.
One can throw glass on the streets.
And it's very
Fans
funny.
of the original movie were thrilled when a sequel, Coming to America, was released in March of 2021.
We are going back to America.
Oh, hell no, Your Majesty.
Number 4, The Wedding Singer. This movie is universally beloved, and it is considered more of a classic comedy than a romance by most viewers, despite the fact that there's a love story at its core. In a way, The Wedding Singer is a traditional Adam Sandler movie, with the actor playing another variation of his signature goofy character.
Do you have any experience? No, sir.
I think that's a great choice for this list. It's a very funny movie, and I don't know how anybody doesn't consider this a rom-com. I mean, it is absolutely, it's all about weddings and love, and yeah, so that's very strange to me.
I have no experience, but I'm a big fan of money. I like it. I use it.
In this iteration, he's playing Robbie, a wedding singer who's engaged to the wrong woman and eventually falls for a waitress, played by Drew Barrymore.
Also, the Broadway musical is actually really great. I love it. It's got such good songs. It's really good.
Grows old with you. I wanna grow with you.
The film balances a sweet romance with some laugh-out-loud moments, making it a great date movie.
The Mile High guy is Glenn. They're on this plane.
No way!
You guys gotta help me.
Right! Yeah!
Sandler and Barrymore do it again in 50 First Dates. Number 3, The Proposal. Starring Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock, The Proposal tells the story of Margaret, a woman who basically forces her assistant Andrew to get engaged to her so she can avoid being deported.
I'm not gonna marry you.
Sure you are. Because if you don't marry me, you're...
You know, I don't really like the Ice Queen of Business, but I do think this movie's pretty funny. We just covered it for Rom-Com Redemption over on Hallmarkies, and I don't think they have that great of chemistry between the two of them, and it's completely ridiculous, but it has enough laughs, and I think it does work.
Dreams of touching the lives of millions with the written word are dead.
In order to sell the story to the immigration authorities, she ends up accompanying him on a trip to visit his family in Alaska. This city girl is totally out of place in the more natural setting and has a hard time letting loose with Andrew's laid-back relatives.
I'm not getting on that boat.
You don't have to. See you in a few days.
You know I can't swim.
Hence the boat.
One of the film's highlights has to be Betty White playing Andrew's grandmother, a sweet-looking yet foul-mouthed lady who, in one memorably hilarious scene, has Bullock's character perform a ritualistic dance with her.
Let me see you get low. You scared. You scared. Drop your ass to the floor. You scared. You scared. Let me see you get low. You scared. You scared. Drop your ass to the floor. You scared. You scared.
Number 2, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. This movie features a love story that develops from a series of lies, which makes it amusing to watch even though it's not the healthiest start to a relationship. Kate Hudson plays a magazine writer who has to produce a piece about all of the terrible mistakes.
It's really kind of a classic screwball comedy, with the lying, and it's, I think this one's really well written and really funny.
That women make in relationships that drive men away.
It will be sort of a dating how-to in reverse.
What not to do.
Yeah.
How to lose a guy in 10 days.
Matthew McConaughey is a PR chief who sets out to prove that he can make a woman fall in love with him in a matter of days. While he's trying to attract her, she's trying to repel him.
Oh, you are already falling in love with me.
I'm gonna make you wish you were dead.
The dynamic only gets funnier as the movie progresses, and she tries more and more outlandish ways to show the clingy and over-the-top ways some people behave in relationships.
Our love fern! It's dead!
No, honey, it's just sleeping.
You let it die!
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions. Isn't It Romantic? This wacky rom-com involves a character falling into
Very
an
funny.
alternate
I love
universe.
that one.
Natalie, I love...
Wait. Hold that thought. Don't say another word. Just get back into bed.
I mean, I guess this is only modern. They're not doing any, like, to not have Bringing a Baby or His Girl Friday or Christmas in Connecticut or, any classic rom-coms.
I don't think we actually did anything. It just cut to the next morning.
What?
Just get back here.
Okay.
27 Dresses. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Or is she?
My God, what the hell is that? Theme wedding.
I think 27 Dresses is fun enough, but I wouldn't say it's that funny. It's not, there's not like a lot of like laugh out loud jokes.
What was the theme? Humiliation?
Crazy, stupid love. This film has a cast full of comedic heavyweights.
This is Jacob,
Good
my
one.
boyfriend.
No,
Good
it's
choice.
not.
I was bringing him over to meet Mom.
No.
I want to see the boyfriend, please.
4 weddings and a funeral. Hugh Grant shines in this classic 90s rom-com.
Well, I seem to be stuck in the wedding from hell. The ghosts of girlfriends past and
Yeah, I love 4 weddings and a funeral, but it's pretty sad. I mean, there's not that many like laugh out loud. At least the parts that I like in it are the more sad parts.
return. Next thing you know, I'll bump into Henrietta and the horror will be complete.
Hello, Charles.
Hello, Hen, how are you?
She's the man. This Shakespearean redux is one for the books.
Do you like cheese?
Well, why, yes,
Good
I
choice.
do. My favorite's
That one's
Gouda.
very funny.
Oh, I like Gouda too.
See?
See what?
We're flowing.
We're talking about cheese.
So what? Flow is flow.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, My Big Fat Greek Wedding. My Big Fat Greek Wedding focuses on Tula, a
Yeah.
shy and introverted Greek woman living in Chicago who has always done what's expected of her until she falls for a non-Greek guy.
I mean, I'd agree. If we're not including the classics, Bring Up Baby, movies like that, then I do think My Big Fat Greek Wedding is the funniest rom-com.
He doesn't eat meat. He don't eat no meat?
No, he doesn't eat meat.
What do you mean he don't eat no meat? Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I make lamb.
This is one of those delightful movies that's oh so comforting to watch because nothing really bad happens. Sure, Ian has a bit of a tough time getting used to Tula's zany family, but the conflict is pretty minimal.
Come on, lighten up. Lighten up. I'll lighten you. I'll lighten you when I take out your kidneys.
Oh,
One more time, Ian. Hey, Angelo.
Hey, Ian, we're gonna kill you.
What carries the movie is the utterly charming cast of characters who make us laugh all the way through, whether they're curing everything with Windex or getting personal with the in-laws.
And inside the lump, he found teeth
Hilarious.
and a spinal column.
That's one of my favorite parts.
Yes, inside the lump was my twin.
Again, I guess they were only including When Harry Met Sally, or I guess Moonstruck and Forward, because I don't know how you don't have What's Up Doc on this list. You don't have Overboard on this list. You don't have, I mean, there's just a lot of really good, very funny rom-coms.
Do you agree with our
So there we
picks?
go.
Check out
That
this
is the video. That's my reaction. Let me know what you think as kind of a new idea, something I'm trying. So I'd love to have your feedback. And let me know what you think they should have put on this list. What do you think are the funniest comedies, rom-coms? What do you think are the funniest rom-coms of all time? I would love to hear your thoughts. And please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. I would really, really appreciate it. Make sure that you're following Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast all over social media. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews all over social media. And please check out the Patreon and the merch store. I'd really appreciate that. And thanks so much. We'll talk to y'all later.